Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to part 2 of my guide to Eureka. Today we're going to be going into the geographically challenged area of Pagos, the hardest area in all of Eureka. The first thing is talk to Rodney after doing the Animos area to unlock Pagos. Now remember, this gets synced down to I'm level 300, so anything above that will go down. And also make sure to have this set here. This is going to be for casters, and for fish range and tanks, it's going to be a little bit different. Since the headpiece is only specific to casters and healers, the other ones are going to be just for the body. So casters do have a little bit of advantage, plus you get haste and 5 meld slots. Just buy these items with the market board to get that set, and it's good for the whole entire instance. Alright, so let's go into Pagos, and remember that this is going to have a cap of level 35, and if you die, you will lose experience unless you get raised. So be very, very careful. Now, Pagos is one of my favorite areas because this is where you start doing bunny fates. So you have 3 different aetherites in 3 different areas, from the bottom to the top left to the top right in that order. Down here is where most of the notorious monsters will be for your level, and of course up here is where everything gets a little bit dicey. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, attune to the aetherite, which I've already done, and talk to Kryl to get your first quest. Alright, so you must be level 21 to continue with this. So you don't get any more of the magicites to get your Magio board strengthened. That's going to be in the next 2 areas, which is going to require notorious monster drops. But they go into defense because offense is already capped out at 5. Alright, so let's go out into the open areas here, and I'll show you guys what to kill to start off with if you're going to be doing it here. So everything at this area is going to be around level 20. And because you have the body piece, like I told you, you should have a little bit of advantage killing them going forward. So we have wind starting here. So with the body, you can see I'm killing them pretty quickly. Remember, you do get echo. So killing one gave me 3,500. Pop the potion of harmony. And see if we get a chain going here. Just going to pop presence of mind. Cast a little bit faster. Once you get at least level 21, 22, you can start doing the bunny fate that will spawn periodically. So that gave me 3,675. That's a chain plus 1. There's the ice ones over there. And then as you get further down the path back there, you hit level 21 enemies. And that gives me a chain bonus of 2, and I went up to 3,701. So if you want to take advantage of your gear, come here and start doing your challenge log, which I'm going to be doing right now. Alright, so once I get at least 3 of these done, we should be level 21, and then we'll continue with the next quest. Alright, I'm not even level 21 yet, and I want to show you guys how OP this gear set is. So I'm going to pull basically all these enemies in this area. White Mage is so OP right now, it's ridiculous. So we're going to basically dot all these enemies up here. And we're going to pull even more. I'll make sure that you don't stand in AoEs. Put this down. Oh, also they can adapt or mutate. So if they do mutate, allow them to, because that's going to increase the experience and also increase the chances of getting unlocked boxes. Because each area does have their own lockbox. Look at that. I just murdered a whole gaggle of these little mandragoras. That's insanity right there. This gear set plus White Mage alone you basically can breeze from 20 to 21 in like 15 minutes. Alright, so now we're level 21. Also, when it's nighttime, right about here, we get zombie Brionax for the Ashkin. So if you guys want to get your undead challenge log done, right about here, you'll find them. So Kryl is going to give us our next quest, and we have to go somewhere in the cones of the southeast for the next confluence. Alright, so the southeast in the cones are going to be in this area right here. So I think it's going to be on this ridge, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to find it, and then we will continue. Alright, so we found the first confluence. It's going to be right here at X 16.4, Y 28.7 in the cones area. These enemies are level 23, 22, so these shouldn't give you a hard time as long as you just pull one. So let's grab it. Also, the Brionax up here are level 22, 23. Alright, so that's basically empty. So now I need to go back to camp and report back to Kryl. So there are the Brionax back there, and those are level 23. So you need at least at level or above for the challenge log. So if you're already level 21, just come to the east part over here to get the next higher up. Let's talk to Kryl. Alright, so the next quest is not until level 23. Alright, so you guys know the deal. Back to your challenge log you go until you get to level 22. So I definitely would take care of the Ashkin before you out-level them all, because it's harder to find higher level ones. So around level 21, start knocking off your undead. Alright, so I'm level 23, and unfortunately I had a little bit of a snafu with my mic being muted when I was recording this section, so I'm going to walk you through it. So level 23, you'll come here at X26.4, Y30.6 after talking to Kryl. The aetheryte here can be attuned at level 21. If you can sneak past all the enemies here at level 25, you're good to go. But take the main aetheryte here to get a little bit faster after attuning. So right about here is where you'll find the confluence. So follow the path here past the enemies at nighttime and fall off this ledge. Follow this path up here past the gelatos and you'll find your corner aetheryte here. Remember, these suckers are level 27. So level 23, you're probably going to have a hard time. So sleep them if you get aggroed. And the nighttime enemies only aggro at low HP. Alright, so after that is done, return to Kryl, and then the next quest will be at level 25. Make sure to use your return ability to make sure that you don't get killed on the way back. Okay, after that, finish any challenge log you have left over. I still have 60 ice and lightning, fire and wind, and then I have the Ashkin left over, and then I should be level 24, and then after that, you're stuck doing fates. But we'll talk about that once I reach level 24. So I'll see you then. Alright, so we're level 26. I kind of over-leveled because I was trying to summon a notorious monster, which unfortunately did not spawn. So the one thing I want to remind you guys is that the challenge log will scale up experience as you level up. So as you can see here, I got 382 experience going from 26 to 27. If you remember before, I was around 316. So this does scale up as you go up, making this a little bit easier to gain a level. So I need 1 million points just to get to level 27. So after doing the level 25 quest with Kryl, she'll tell you that you must go to the eastern edge, the confluence. Now that is going to be right here, along this wall. Alright, so we made it to the eastern edge. So these guys go up to level 30. Also remember, these are undead, and they only aggro by low HP. The crocs are site-based, so you guys can go around them. So here at X30.8 to Y20.7, you have the destination. After that is done, you have another destination over here. Unfortunately, we do have a croc in the way. So what I'm going to do is sleep him. I am a white mage. And then I can go ahead and interact. And now we're going to de-aggro by basically running away. So here are the eye monsters that I told you about, the blubber eyes. You kill them to summon a notorious monster. This one specifically cannot give you gold unless you have a eye cluster item, which is going to give you a hat. That's basically from Final Fantasy XI. Alright, so we de-aggroed, so let's return. And those materials to make the eye cluster are insanely expensive. Also, when you do the level 25 quest, a Geralt becomes available if you want to do the relic. So I'll talk to Kral to finish this off. And the next quest is not until level 29. Alright, so we're going to have to wait a couple minutes because when there's a new instance, the bunny fates take some time to spawn. So it's going to be spawning around here. Alright, so when that does pop up, we will continue. Alright, so the bunny fate finally spawned. This is level 20, so you can be sinking down. When there's a new instance, this takes about 5-10 minutes to spawn. So this will scale based on how many people are in the instance. So as you can see, everybody almost died from a size. So there's going to be 2 waves of enemies, and then a boss will spawn right after. So the next batch, just going to holy. The one's dead. Make sure you attune to their aether. So that's going to be ice. So being fire will take these guys out a little bit faster. The Vortooth will do that. He'll do heavy toss, which is a buck, so it'll stand in front of it. And also a buffet attack, and then of course the freeze. So when it does that, get away. And if the bunnies die, you fail. So there's heavy toss. And then there's buffet again. So once you've completed a fate, you will get a lucky carrot. This is going to be in your key items. Put it to your hotbar, and then use it. It will then tell you to go a certain direction. So I have to go northeast. So most likely it's going to be over in this area here. So that's where I'm going to go. The one to the north at level 31 will take you into the danger areas. So doing the ones on the bottom are your safe bet if you're going for the gill. So I'm going to find this treasure chest that he's going to give me, and then we will continue. Alright, so as you get closer to the treasure, the notification will say immediate. So this is going to be right about here, and you must be like on top of it in order for it to spawn. Oh, I got silver. So bronze gives you 10,000 gil, silver 25,000, and gold gives you 100,000 gil, plus a rare item if you're lucky. Alright, so I got materia, which is basically useless, and each of those bunny fates at level 20 will give you 31,545 experience. So if you guys want to spawn and just do that for the fates instead, you can, but I recommend that you try to spawn the notorious monsters. And that one will spawn again in a couple minutes. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take this path, and we're going to try to get to the next aetherites. And this is where I'm going to talk about the sleeping dragons and how to deal with them, because those suckers can easily one-shot you if you're too low level. Alright, so here is the sleeping dragon. As you can see, he's level 40. Now, the only way to get by these guys is either sleep them yourself, which overwrites their own buff, or slowly walk. Or in this case, if you're on a mount, do this. The monster that you see next to it is also based off of hearing. So as long as you walk by, they do not aggro. Oh, look, an elemental. Nice. So make sure you grab this as soon as possible if you find one, because like I said, those buffs are helpful. Alright, so if they're farther away from them, we can go ahead and get this. So the rest of them are basically sound based, so we can get around them pretty easily. There will be more dragons, so try not to wake them up. We got golems, so try to get around by going behind them, since they are sight based. As you can see. There's another dragon over there. There's one to the left. Oh, that turn just barely missed them. So these monsters right here also will summon a monster called the snowman. So if you want to kill those guys, you can. But continue following the path and we should get another sleeping dragon. So again, same thing. Get as close as possible. And just slowly Move. Do not go into him because you will aggro him. So if you're on controller, just slightly tilt the left stick until you get far enough away where you can just basically jet it. Alright, now that we're there, bypass all these dudes. They're level 32. We want to get to that building back there. So the rest of these are just site aggroed. Don't forget that sprites only spawn or trigger their aggro when you cast a spell. And these guys are 33. This little pond here is where you'll find the king crab, which is a money fate. Basically, it will drop a speed ring, aka used to be a speed belt before belts were removed, which is a very rare drop and also sellable. Alright, so now we can attune to this aetheryte. So now we have a quick path to the upper section. So now we can head back. So that is how you guys get to this section, and also how to deal with the sleeping dragons. Now Geralt cannot be touched until you have the animus weapon completed, so you guys can ignore him until now. Alright, so now like I said, you guys can continue doing your fates, or spawn notorious monsters, which is going to be the Snow Queen over here, Taxim, which is going to be here, Ash Dragon over here, the Worm over here. This one has to be spawned during fog, and the eyeballs will be spawned over here. So these are the ones that you guys are going to be attacking. So start with the Ash Dragon and the Snow Queen, since they're going to be around your level, and go from there. Okay? If you have the challenge log available, which is going to be resetted tomorrow since today is Monday of this recording, I'll be able to take advantage of my challenge log yet again to get myself most likely to 30. Okay. Alright, so I finally got the Ash Dragon to spawn by killing the blood demons over there. So they gave me level 27, so I was on par with their power. So this fate is level 22, so hopefully this will not be too difficult. Now the thing with Ash Dragon, if you get petrified by his lilac breath, his invisible enemies will basically murder you, so be very, very careful. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, so the damage he does is pretty significant, but the damage I do is just as bad. So if you are a DPS, have some Eureka potions for the regen, and you should be just fine. Also, tail drive, don't be behind them. But yeah, this thing is melting. Say, if you're the only one in the instance, these fates are just bully at this point. It's almost dead. There's lilac breath again. And dead. So the fates will always be lower than the monsters itself. So this gave me 234,076 experience, 45 poetics, 2 lock boxes, and of course the pagos crystals, which you're going to be using for the weapon. Alright, so that is basically how you solo notorious monsters. If there's nobody else in the instance, the damage would be pretty decent, but not decent enough where you have a hard time killing the enemy. And of course the DPS will have an easier time to do this. Alright guys, so we're now level 29. So I killed the taxim, I killed the worm, and unfortunately the queen wouldn't spawn, so I advise you not to really worry about her. So I got myself 29 just by killing the mobs, which took me like about an hour to do, and now we have to do the next area. So we have to go to the bull's pen. Now that's going to be right here. Alright, this means we're going to have to fall off a cliff to get down to that cave, because that's where the bull's pen is going to be. So this is the aetheryte that we had to take to get there. So if you attune to it like I showed you, you're going to go to the main aetheryte camp, the geothermal studies. And now you're going to head south. Now there's going to be a tree that you guys can use as a landmark to know where to drop. And if it's during nighttime, there should be enemies that are triggered by low HP. So make sure you do not walk into the cave until your HP is at least max. Otherwise, you'll die, and then you're going to lose half of your experience. And that is a no-no. So these guys up here can be just bypassed by going behind them. They're level 34, so you shouldn't have to worry about them too much. Alright, so here's the cliff. There's the tree. Slowly fall off. And there is Ejika. And there's the haunt. So make sure that you are full health. So we're going to talk to him, have a cutscene, and then we'll get back to Kryl. We're back at camp, so let's talk to Kryl. After talking with her, we now need to reach the level cap at level 35, and that will be the final quest. Now that one is going to be all the way up here, and this is where the griffins are going to be, and think that they're a true sight, so you can't use ninjas hid or hide to get past them. So you're going to hope to God that you do not get aggroed by them. Otherwise, it's almost lights out. I think you can probably get away from it, but we'll get there when we hit level 35. But because I'm recording this on a Monday, this is going to be reset tomorrow, which I'm going to get so I can boost myself up to the higher levels, because that's going to give us an advantage, because the notorious monsters up here are around the mid-level 30s. So we're going to level up before we attempt to do any of that. And then we'll come over here and grab the last aetherite once we get a little bit higher up. All right. So I'll see you guys, I would say around level 33. We'll get to the next aetherite. Alright guys, so we're now level 33. Now it's time to get to the last aetherite. So starting from the igloo notorious monster zone, you want to go right instead of left. So we have a sleeping dragon you have to get by, so you know the deal. Get as close as possible and just slowly walk. Now the Val corpse are undead, so they will aggro on low HP, so do not worry about them. The serpents are also sight aggro, so we should be able to get by him. So take a white berth here. And then we're going to go by the fate. Make sure you don't aggro nothing there. Ultimately, if you're not attacking, they won't bother you. Now the goobos are on side aggro, so we're going to try to sneak behind them. Just like this. Not too difficult. And if you do get aggroed, just run for it. So their line of sight is pretty weak. Alright, so now we made it through here. So we're almost there. The enemies are pretty spread out here, so you don't have to worry about sneaking around them. The cows here are one of the notorious monster spawns. So if you killed enough elder buffalo, you will spawn the holy cow. Alright, so we're basically in the clear. So make a beeline for this aetherite. Alright, so we made it to the gravitational studies aetherite. I already grabbed it earlier when I was doing notorious monster hunting with a friend of mine that just so happens to be on this server. So we were able to get all 3 aetherites, including the one at the base camp. So now your next thing is to unlock the rest of the caves, but we'll take care of that at level 35. So your next objective is to get the rest of your challenge log done. Now that's a reset since I'm doing this on a Tuesday. You want to focus on your Ashkin immediately, because they're going to be a little bit harder to find at max rank. So we need Ashkin 20 and 40. So let's head back to the geothermal studies, because you'll find the haunt. Now these suckers are right now 34, and then back there are 33, then over here is 32. So you want to knock these off, and you'll get the water elemental challenge log done at the same time. So make sure you pop your harmony potion If you're lucky enough to find the fairy, get that experience boost from them, and start killing these. And as you'll notice, that they'll die pretty quickly. So I believe these are going to give you around 30,000 for the first. And then, of course, they'll get a little bit expensive as you get higher up. So the first one gives you 29,999. That's with the buff from the food or the pot. So it's presence of mind to get this done faster. Sprites are going to be a little bit harder because of the weather conditions. But that gave me 3731 for the chain. So make sure you knock off the hunt immediately first before moving on to 34 and 35. The Val corpses that I showed you guys on the path up are level 36. So yeah, stick with the haunt immediately after getting 33. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing the Ashkin challenge log, and then we will continue once I get to level 35. Alright guys, so we're now level 35, the cap for Pagos. So unfortunately the challenge log was not enough to get me from 33 to 35, but we were lucky enough that over here, where the quest is going to be, a bunch of people were doing the marbles over here to summon Cassie, the biggest NM in the entire zone, and I was able to get all of this experience that you see on my screen. 60 a pop, and as the chain went up, I was reaching like 80,000 points of experience. So thanks to them for allowing me to go in their group. They were already level 60, so I wasn't taking any experience away from them. So now let's get the 35 quest done and get the hell out of here. So like I told you, it's going to be in the northern section where the Cassie is, and it's going to be, like I said, right about here. Alright, so we're going to take the gravitational studies aetheryte and hopefully get ourselves out of there without getting killed by a griffin. Alright, so here's the group of friends that I was doing the farm with. So we're going to make our way past here while the marbles are dead. And here are the griffins. So these are true sights, so nothing can basically get by them, even hidden. So you're going to have to wait until these suckers basically turn. Just like that. And we'll get the final cutscene and book it with return, or if your return's on cooldown, just leave and re-enter the instance. Alright, so I'll see you guys back at camp. Alright, so we're back at camp. Let's talk to Kryl and let's get the hell out of here. Alright, so after the final cutscene, you get the achievement. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to get to the last two caves, and then we're going to go over all of the areas for notorious monsters, where to spawn them, how to spawn them, and the weather conditions for certain ones. And after that, we'll conclude the video. Alright, so here we are at the edge, above the eastern edge area, and then you'll see the ledge down below with the sleeping dragon. So get off your mount and slowly creep your way to the edge and just try to fall straight down. Alright. Heal. And now slowly walk past the sleeping dragon into this cave. These enemies right here is going to cause the Horus notorious monster to spawn. These are site aggroed. They're level 38. But you should have no problem taking them one at a time. So basically try to out aggro them if you can. And Horus will spawn in here. So you're going to make your way outside. And this is where you'll find the Ahriman from the World of Darkness in the Chorus Rise. So you have the slugs and the Anubises, and then of course you'll have the Ahriman back there. So these slugs are a sight. And this is how you get here. And then you can just basically fall off. right about here to get to the safe zone. If you fall, you should be able to de-aggro them. Yep, de-aggroed, and you're safe. If you are aggroed when you hit, it lights out. Alright, so that's how you guys get to that. So now you're going to make your way back up, and then you're going to come to the far right side, and we're going to fall down here to get to the louhi cave. Alright, so we're back on top of the ledge. This time we're going to fall over here. And of course, we're going to sleep the dragon. There we go. We're aggroed, but he'll lose it when we run in. So this cave, where the Val corpses spawn, you must kill the ones that are in the back here in order to spawn louhi. And there you go, mapping the realm, pagos. And there goes the aggro. Alright, and the back here is where you'll find dinosaurs and chimeras. So back here is where you'll find the Vel corpses at nighttime, and you need to kill the level 40 ones, I think they are, to summon louhi in this area. And that is going to conclude how to get to these caves over here. You already know how to get to the bullpen from the quest, and the other one is on the far right as you fall off the edge to get to the cavern. At level 20, we have the Snow Queen. By killing her smaller subjects, we'll spawn her. She has a possibility of dropping her card as well. At level 21, we have the Taxim. Simply by killing these demons at night will help spawn this notorious monster. At level 22, the Ash Dragon. Simply by killing the blood demons in the same area to spawn them. At level 23, we have the galvoid. Simply by killing the smaller worms in the same area in order to spawn this notorious monster. At number 24 is the anapo. Only can be spawned by killing water sprites during fog, but the monster can spawn at any weather condition. At number 25 is hakutaku. By killing the blubber eyes in the same area, you must have its eye cluster item, which is craftable, in order to get gold, and it can drop the optical hat. At number 26 is King Igloo, simply by killing the rock monsters in the same area to spawn in. At number 27 is asag, killing the fish monsters in the same area to spawn them. At number 28 is going to be the yak, but simply by killing the longhorn goats in the same area to spawn them. Number 29 is the king crab. You must kill the snippers at any time, but the crab can only spawn during fog weather. Also, it can drop a blitz ring, which will give you haste, but that is a pretty rare drop, but is also sellable. Coming at number 30, brothers from Final Fantasy VIII. Allowing them to buff each other will increase your light for relic, as well as increase your experience points as your reward. Coming at number 31 is the Holy Cow. By killing the Elder Buffalo in order to spawn it, he will transform, and I think doing so will also give you an increased amount of light and experience. Coming at number 32 is the Behemoth. Must be spawned during lightning only, and the dragons in the background are his trigger, which can be prepped before the weather pops. This way you guys can spawn it immediately. Coming in at number 33 is going to be Horus. Now Horus must be spawned by killing the dragons in the same cave, and it must be Heat Wave. You guys can prep the dragons ahead of time, so when Heat Wave goes off, Horus should pop on command. Coming at number 34, the angra mainyu. This one is going to be summoned by killing the Ahriman in the same area. Be forewarned that the sucker has a lot of AoEs, so you might sometimes get knocked off the edge if you're not careful. Coming at number 35 is louhi. The Vel corpse at nighttime can only be spawned, and you must kill the level 40 ones, which is going to be in the Ice Bloom Cave, where he basically spawns. Be forewarned that you must do this 3 times to get the items for the relic, and this should only be done with a group of 8 or more people. Also coming at number 35, the big money fate, Cassie. She must be spawned during Blizzard only, and the marbles around her arena are the ones that will trigger her. You can do this ahead of time before Blizzard, which most people do, and if you're lucky enough, she will drop her Cassie earrings, which also give a haste, I believe, and those suckers I think are the most expensive items that you can find on the market board. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV content and help with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys want to support my channel even further, consider becoming a Patreon supporter, YouTube member, or support me on Ko-Fi. Links in the description down below. And a huge thank you to all my YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and Ko-Fi members. And a huge extra thank you to the members on screen. So until next time, be sure to walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging ahead. Take care.